news now, the latest on the Maharashtra crisis and no decision on disqualification of MLAs in Maharashtra for now. The Supreme Court says the Assembly Speaker should be informed that no decision should be taken on disqualification until the pleas are decided in the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice will not hear the matter urgently. The Chief Justice of India says the matter will require a constitution of a bench and will take some time to be listed. The Shiv Sena chief Uddhav Thackeray has called for a meeting of Shiv Sena MPs today. Well, let's go across to Arvind now for more. And Arvind, tell us firstly about the Supreme Court, what it said on this matter of the Maharashtra crisis, because earlier when before this new government has been formed, Eknath Shinde, the new Chief Minister of Maharashtra, the plea had been there before the Supreme Court, which they, at that time said that they will deal with it on the 11th of July. But now the Chief Justice saying that it needs a whole new bench to be constituted.
Yeah, Gargi, in a breather for Eknath Shinde government in Maharashtra, today Supreme Court said that this particular matter regarding the disqualification proceedings and also a series of petitions that have been filed by Uddhav Thackeray camp, the Supreme Court said that it requires a new bench to be constituted because the matter was earlier heard by the vacation bench, and the same composition of that particular bench, Justice Suryakant and Justice Padiwala, are not sitting together, and that's why Supreme Court said that it requires a constitution of a new bench, and that's why the matter cannot be listed today or tomorrow, and that's why Supreme Court has told has in fact asked the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, appearing on behalf of Maharashtra government, to inform the Assembly Speaker in Maharashtra Assembly not to proceed ahead with the disqualification proceedings, because there are two sets of disqualification proceedings that are pending before the Maharashtra Assembly. One, the disqualification proceedings pending against the 30-odd rebel MLAs, including Eknath Shinde, that was moved by Uddhav Thackeray camp. That's first set of disqualification proceedings. The second set of disqualification proceedings involves Uddhav Thackeray camp MLAs. In fact, Eknath Shinde camp has moved the Assembly Speaker to initiate disqualification proceedings against Uddhav Thackeray camp MLAs, and that petition is also pending before the Assembly Speaker. And that's why, because Supreme Court has said that they cannot constitute a bench immediately in this particular matter, and that's why they have asked the Speaker not to proceed ahead with the disqualification proceedings. So, in all likelihood, it's a kind of a relief for both Eknath Shinde camp and also Uddhav Thackeray camp, because Uddhav Thackeray camp MLAs cannot be disqualified, nor Eknath Shinde camp MLAs can be disqualified until Supreme Court takes a final call. But ultimately, it's a breather for Eknath Shinde camp, because the government can continue unless until Supreme Court takes a final call on the disqualification proceedings that were moved against Eknath Shinde and 15 other rebel MLAs by Uddhav Thackeray.
And Arvind, the reason this is, so important and crucial for the country is because we've seen so many similar cases in various states of, rebellions and governments being brought down, etc. And this issue of, disqualifying MLAs, but and new governments being formed. So that's why it's so important what the Supreme Court rules in this matter.
Yeah, Garge, a very interesting prayer has been made by Uddhav Thackeray camp in the latest petition that was filed last week. That's on Friday, wherein they have asked the Supreme Court to decide the disqualification proceedings by the Supreme Court itself. Though the disqualification proceedings against the Eknath Shinde camp MLAs are pending before the Deputy Speaker, and also the disqualification proceedings against Uddhav Thackeray camp MLAs are pending before the Speaker. Now, because both of them are facing a no confidence motion against them, and that's why Uddhav Thackeray camp has moved Supreme Court to decide the disqualification proceedings by the apex court itself. So if at all if Supreme Court agrees to do that, then that will be one of the first case or a benchmark case in this particular aspect, and that's why Supreme Court is also taking time to hear this matter, because like I mentioned earlier, the earlier composition of bench that heard this matter comprises of Justice Suryakant and also Justice Padiwala, but both of them were sitting together in the vacation bench. But when it comes to know, both Justice Suryakant and also Justice Padiwala, both of them are not sitting together. In fact, Justice Suryakant is heading a different bench, and also Justice Padiwala is sitting with another judge, and that's why, because both the judges should again sit together, only then this particular matter can be heard, and that's why Supreme Court has said it requires time to constitute such a bench, and that's why Supreme Court has posted this matter, adjourned the matter. Earlier the matter was supposed to be heard today, but it has been now adjourned. We are not sure when Supreme Court will constitute that bench and when Supreme Court will hear that matter.
All right, so no clarity when this matter will be taken up. So setback to the Thackeray camp and some reprieve or relief to the Shinde government for the moment. Well, let's now go across to Saurabh for more on that. And Saurabh, today Uddhav Thackeray has called for a meeting of Shiv Sena MPs, and it'll be interesting to see, who attends this meeting.
That's right. Now, you know, several MPs, for example, Eknath Shinde's son, Shrikant Shinde, who's an MLA from Kalyan, I beg your pardon, an MP from Kalyan, whether he attends or not. Now, he's obviously with the rebel camp. His father is the one who's led this rebellion, and the MLAs are very clearly split. But till now, there was no clear picture of the MPs. For example, Rahul Shivale, one party MP from Mumbai, had written to Uddhav Thackeray saying the party should vote for Draupadi Murmu, the BJP-backed candidate for the presidential elections. Uddhav Thackeray's party has said that at that point, the party would, let Uddhav Thackeray decide, and Uddhav Thackeray himself had said that he would decide after a meeting with his MPs. Now, following that meeting has been called today.
Isn't that what he just
at
said?
12 o'clock at Matoshri,
Arvind,
which is the Thackeray residence in Mumbai. And obviously, in the middle of this rebellion, amidst this rebellion, where the MLAs clearly took sides, we know, because they voted one way or the other. Now, of course, this meeting will be an indicator of how many party MPs are with the Uddhav Thackeray-led camp of the Shiv Sena and how many have openly now switched to the rebel camp. Because unless the party itself decides which way to vote and the MPs vote accordingly or vote against that, remember, there's no whip also in the presidential elections. This is something that we've been reporting, because that also means that this meeting is likely to be an indicator of how many MPs are supporting Uddhav Thackeray and how many turn up at Matoshri for this meeting. Even if they're not supporting him, even if they turn up for the meeting, they can always make their point. That's something that Uddhav Thackeray has said, let everybody come. But how many come, including Bhavna Gavli, who's also an MP, who's facing an ED case, whether she comes or not, all of these things are going to be interesting to watch. That meeting is at 12 o'clock this afternoon.